I am enjoying this because Mike Morhaime, now that he's out of the company, looks like he's going to be going on a tour where he gets to speak ill of Blizzard now. Ooh, please give me the unfiltered thoughts of Mike Morhaime. So one of the things that you probably don't know, but I might have told this story before, and it's gospel, it's gold. You know me, right? Like, I get the leaks. People talk to me. People like me. Oh, it just is what it is. The Richard Lewis you meet in person, the Richard Lewis you see on the stream, nice guy, and he likable guy. It's only Twitter Richard that's fucking vicious, but that's why I have to put all of my hostility to stay sane. So people tell me everything all the time. So one of the stories that I got told was, well, why was Mike Morhaime like getting sidelined at the company? Because you have to understand, this is like one of the founders of Blizzard, beloved guy. I've never met anybody have anything bad to say about him, right? And keep in mind, he's an executive at a fucking company who was thought to be in a unfireable, like an unassailable position. So that's very rare that people think positively of people like that. But I never met anyone say anything bad about him. But I did start hearing these rumors like a while back that he was getting sidelined and pushed out, right? Because he'd criticized some of the esports program that Blizzard was putting together. Now, if you know anything about how the company's working right now, you cannot criticize Blizzard esports. Activision Blizzard esports, I should say. You can't do it. You cannot do it. Because if you do, you're going to get got. Because that is, they're pinning everything on that being the moneymaker. Trust me, guys. The amount of money that they've made of all these like promises and protestations of things to be, of the best league. So again, just to give you some fucking hot fucking tea, as you pussy-os call it, right? Some of the sponsorship deals are fucking mental out there. I've heard, like on the T-Mobile shit, I've heard like 100, over 130 mil. I know franchises that are supposedly signing $10 million, $14 million sponsorship deals, right? That's just the franchise for themselves that then gets divided up with the league and everything else, right? So the esports division is making crazy money, and think about it, to even get a piece of this shit, you got to pay 20 mil, 30 mil just to have a seat at the table. So there's all this cash, right? But what they haven't figured out is, like, how's the revenue going to work? Because they were meant to be selling broadcasting rights this year, this season. And, yeah, they did a deal with Disney and did a deal with ESPN, did a deal with ABC. But there was meant to be exclusive broadcasting rights that the franchises were meant to be getting a cut of. But that didn't materialize. So now they're like, wait, so not only do we need to hemorrhage cash this year, because most orgs have had one payout from Blizzard. Most of the franchises have had one payout from Blizzard. And I think it was the Fanatics the Fanatics merchandise stuff. Right? People are still waiting to see these checks. Anyway, neither here nor there. The bottom line is that if you criticize esports, the esports division in Blizzard right now, you are going to get got. You are going to get savaged. And Mike Morhaime's been around the block. He's thinking, surely I get to speak my mind. I'm Mike motherfucking Morhaime. Surely I get to speak my mind. No, he doesn't. No one does. So one of the times he started getting phased out, first of all, he criticized Heroes of the Storm internally and said that he had some reservations about it. That was him put on notice, but things weren't quite so serious back then because they had plans and they were a little bit like deluded about how it was going to go, but he criticized Overwatch. Wah, wah. I think he said internally, or it might have been even externally in some interview that's been memory hold, that he didn't think Overwatch was esports ready, and the execs fucking lost their shit, and he was on borrowed time from that fucking moment. So, understand, he's one of the guys who actually gets it and knows probably more about esports, despite not even really being like necessarily an esports guy, not even being that esports centric. There was a big flip in Blizzard where in like 2012, 2013, I had Blizzard employees on record as saying, if you go look at the articles at Cadred I wrote,
real journalism. That's right.
I had Blizzard employees on record saying they don't give a fuck about esports. Quote, they only care about making good games. Now it's fuck good games. Let's get a piece of this esports dollar, right? So they've done this 180, and Mike Morhaime was just a victim of that. So he was pushed out. I think this is the start of something beautiful, because he did an interview. This was he did this round table at an event in Barcelona, and somebody asked him, why do you think Heroes of the Storm had failed? Now, I'm going to say this. I love Mike. Love him. Great guy. I owe him a lot personally because I love Blizzard games. I'm sure you all feel that way if you love Blizzard games. This is one of the guys that, it's like meeting fucking Ozzy Osbourne or whatever. You don't necessarily like his music now, but it's Ozzy fucking Osbourne. You know what I'm saying? He's like that. So I'm going to give my own opinions about why fucking Heroes of the Storm failed, because it was a game replete with problems. So I agree with this point. First of all, late to the table. When a genre pops off, whether it's fucking MMOs, right? Remember when it was the MMO Gold Rush? World of Warcraft won that one. When it was RTS, StarCraft and Warcraft won that one. You remember when Blizzard could win shit? When it was Battle Royales, right? When it was class-based shooters, when it was FPS, and now for some reason it's auto chess type games. You will never know what is going to be the next genre. But I'll tell you this, if you don't get in at the first 3 to 5 titles that are all fighting for market share, if you come after that, and especially if they're ones that are run by big established developers, AAA games, there ain't even any point. There is not even a point in coming to that table. So, and just look at BR. Look at BR. Like, not even EA, with a game that was very well received, Apex Legends, got very good reviews, had huge influence in marketing. It's fucking Dunzo, innit? I saw that trailer for like, ooh, it's a dinosaur. Ooh, it's Dunzo. BR's Dunzo. Everyone's played out with it. Even Fortnite's in decline. PUBG struggling. Like, just across the board, the genre's kind of played out. Things just have their time. And you're going to notice, right? Life cycles on games, they're getting shorter. Because people want the new thing. They want the next thing. They want whatever the influencers playing. They want whatever their friends are playing. It's become gaming's become more of an ephemeral experience right now in terms of where we distribute our time online, because there are increasingly more and more options and more people telling us where we need to go. So the idea of like something like World of Warcraft, you will never see a game like World of Warcraft again. Never. Not even vanilla, like when it does the rounds. It'll get that nostalgia, like hook it into my veins, and then everyone will get bored inside of 18 months to 2 years. You will never see the likes of a World of Warcraft where people are still playing the game like that they played in vanilla to like, I mean, how many fucking years has it been? What is it like? It's insane. So you'll never see anything like that again, because people just get bored and they want to put the time. Oh, is it Fortnite today? Is it? Ha ha. It's Teamfight Tactics today now. Ha ha. 15 fucking years. That's some outrageous shit. 15 years, and they haven't even updated their business model to reflect the times. It is like a time warp paying a subscription. It's crazy. It's crazy. Yeah, and exactly. You got the World of Warcraft motherfuckers. You got them RuneScape motherfuckers. I don't know how they do it. RuneScape guys, like fucking beam me up. I don't even understand. Like, you're playing a game in a fucking browser, and it's like, I am mining. My mining is 99. Like, what is this? What are people doing? This is shit. Anyway, Do you want to buy gold? BR. Wait. Yes. Hack my account, please. So anyway, you won't see games like that anymore, is my point. So coming late to the table is a big thing. But let's be real, coming late to the table and just being shit is far worse. Like, coming late to the table, again, think about it this way. It's like, it's like strolling into an orgy, right? And you missed the first wave of fucking where people partnered up and people are watching. Everyone's come a few fucking times. Everyone's a little bit tired, a little bit dry, a little bit depleted. And you got to be something special. You got to have a big old swinging dick to get people interested again. If you fucking come in and pull the well out, and everyone's like, well, fucking hell, I was going to go to bed, but I'd hate myself if I didn't have a go on that. Brilliant. Fine. Right? But if you ain't got that, if you come in and you're like, hey everybody, you want to see my little pigtail? Like, nah, it's all right, babe. I'm off to bed. Sorry. So the fact that Heroes of the Storm came in late and their game was garbage, had so many problems. I played it. Me and Sam played it. I even distinctly remember we had this moment when me and Sam were playing it, right? And me and Sam used to play League together, and we stopped doing that because it was going to erode the friendship. And then I started learning Dota, and I think Sam just fucking, tapped out of just MOBAs. But we had a moment where we were playing it, and I was like, and he was like, mate, and I went, yeah, this is fucking shit, isn't it? And I went, it's not very engaging. Yeah, you're right about that. But I persevered with it for a little bit. And let's be clear. Let's list some of the problems it had. You would disconnect. How long would it take in HOTS to fucking reconnect? And they never fixed that. People were still pissing and moaning about that when fucking Activision came in and yanked the fucking wires out the life support machine. It was insane. Right? In Dota, if I'm lagging or there's a problem or whatever, I can turn my whole computer off and get back into the game with enough time that, or I've lost a bit of farm or whatever, In fucking HOTS, I know it. Maybe I'm exaggerating, but it used to feel like about 4 minutes or something, like 4 or 5 minutes or something. It was crazy. It was crazy how long it would take to get you back into a game. Obviously, the stuff with the drafting. Then, unlockables. It was really weird. It shows there's a lot of fanboys for Activision Blizzard that let them get away with a lot of shit. Because how overpriced were the skins and cosmetics and unlockables and all that nonsense in Heroes of the Storm? Didn't reflect value for money in my mind. And the grind was pretty bad, actually. Like, we all know League, right? We all know how Dota gives it you for free. You can have everybody right from the start and everything. But it was really bad from what I remember. So that might have changed. And then, as I said, just overall, you're going up against games where you as a player have like way more agency in Dota 2, way more agency in League of Legends, way more agency, honestly, even in failed games like Infinite Crisis or whatever the fuck it was called, that Warner Brothers one. And then it's like, well, yep, I'm leveling up anyway because the team's leveling up. Hon, yeah, of course. It felt like you could win games by yourself. I never felt that way in HOTS. Like, I always felt like your team definitely had to be on, the same level and the same page way more. So anyway, those are my thoughts. I'm probably missing some out. I was very critical of HOTS at the time. I told Blizzard staff it wasn't going to work. It didn't work. They hated me ever since. And remember, I've hosted a Heroes of the Storm event. DreamHack Valencia, I can't remember what year. There was like me, Todd, Kalaris, all the boys, all the Blizzard fucking lovers, and then just me. And I was like, I think I said on the broadcast, yeah, this game's got some problems, hasn't it? And they're all just like, no, you can't say this. Anyway, so Mike Morhaime at this thing, Game Lab, it's called, in Barcelona. He said, first of all, I think the Heroes team made a great game. One of my regrets is that we didn't pursue Dota early enough. Oh, don't we know it? Another reason, by the way, that Blizzard have this massive complex about, like, being the kings of esports now is because they made so many mistakes. You fucked up in StarCraft. You fucked up in Dota. You, like, let that mod go away. Imagine that! To a rival company. Like, you fucking bellends. You absolute bellends. How could you not recognize the fucking genius of that mod and what you had? Like, holy shit. Unreal. Anyway, Dota was very popular and we were very focused on World of Warcraft at the time. There were more people playing Dota than Warcraft 3. Long before Valve put out Dota 2, Defense of the Ancients was a community mod. Yeah, we know all that. Let's get back to Mike. But the community was doing a great job supporting it, and we didn't want to disrupt that. And we frankly had our hands full trying to support the growth of World of Warcraft. We felt like focusing on Warcraft was the right call at the time. In retrospect, boy, if I could go back in time and say, you know what? Why don't we have a small team that's focused on doing something with Dota? Or why don't we include Dota with the launch of StarCraft 2 and have a mode or something? I'd love to try doing that a little bit earlier. I think Heroes was probably too late. You know, I think this is very mild criticism, but it bodes well. Because one day someone's going to ask Mike a question about Overwatch. And, oh, God. It's going to be so good. It's like he's really going to fucking lay into it, I think. In his polite sort of way. Anyway. But that isn't all, right? Now, I got to be careful. Because there was right now, pinch of salt here, guys. You know me. I don't like to traffic in false or misleading information. Not my style. But I always think if potential leaks are out there and floating around, it's worth looking at them and making an assessment as to whether or not they're accurate. And I was surprised at how the people didn't. This didn't get picked up. You know, I didn't see any videos about it. I didn't see any forum threads about it. And it's probably because it's from 4chan. Now, 4chan, as we know, it's a mixed bag, right? I mean, on the one hand, I think, for example, like with the BioShock Infinite leaks, they turned out to be accurate, and very often you'll see, like, people can go there and feel secure in the anonymity of the platform. So they fucking will just do a drop and just leak stuff on there. And a lot of stuff historically in the past, like, you know, in the internet has been leaked on 4chan first. But because of that reputation, it's also a place a lot of trolls go to put false information. And then people go, oh my God, is that real? So I think the QAnon thing probably started on 4chan. Or was it 8chan? Because there's an 8chan now, obviously. But anyway, these leaks. Now, I got to be careful bringing this up because I archived it. Because how it works with 4chan is it fades away over time. But just to put this in, so I've got to be careful because obviously, immediately it's not gay. It's super risky showing 4chan. So reasons why this could be real are there have been more layoffs at Blizzard in the time frame of this, which was the 17th of June, matches up. Because if you remember, my report was big exodus coming at Blizzard. And I've had multiple sources tell me that, yes, lots of people have been going. from Blizzard right now, and there's more names to come, and there's some have already gone, and it hasn't even been revealed yet because they just don't want to deal with the media scrutiny. They want to get, feather the nest and get to the next place. But I like to think that, if my credibility counts for anything, I was able to accurately call the exact day that Kim Fan left. I've had multiple other journalists, who I won't name, reach out to me and go, we followed up on your story and your reporting, and we are amazed at how thorough it was. So the fact that people are saying in this thread got fired from Blizzard, it matches up with people actually getting fired from Blizzard. Here's reasons why it probably is false or could be false. I am thinking it's false, or certainly contains a large portion of disinformation. Because first of all, how it works at Blizzard, it's very rare you would find somebody like assigned to multiple projects or having access to information across multiple projects. But then, on the flip side, I also know nobody keeps secret of Blizzard, especially right now with morale being so low. So everyone bitches about everyone else's shit. So this could be like water cooler talk, could have some truth in it. But some of these leaks are ridiculous, if true. So we'll just read them for you, and we can, have a bit of fun. So, tell me something I don't know. The mood across the whole company is bad. The thread is called "Got Fired from Blizzard. Get your leaks here, anon." The mood across the whole company is bad. StarCraft 2 is dead. Diablo 3 is dead. Overwatch, despite most of the fucking office saying sacrificing our casual audience to chase esports money was a bad fucking idea, is shock of shocks, dying. Hearthstone is being described as in a death spiral. We've had 4 projects cancelled in 3 months. And, what's that? An Ions team? Doesn't want to hear it, but Battle for Azeroth is an unmitigated disaster. Yeah, unmitigated disaster. Yeah, Ion. So listen, if you've looked at the if you've looked at the data that's been put out there recently, a lot of games for Blizzard have huge reductions in the player base and huge reductions in profitability. This isn't a surprise. So Hearthstone being in a death spiral surprises me a little bit, because I thought at the last shareholder meeting Hearthstone was one of the top performers. But again, if from an esports perspective, it hasn't been doing well. So who knows? Anyway, anyone who hasn't worked there for at least 15 years got a non-negotiable pay cut or the choice to walk. This information, by the way, lines up with stuff I've been told. I think I've said it before on streams. They completely slashed the bonus schemes. They were one of the reasons why they did this wholesale restructuring and were firing people is because they want to streamline costs, because they want to increase profits. So that sounds true. Again, sounds. Don't know. Josh Allen went fucking berserk, all because Papa Activision wants to save money. People begged Morhaime to stay. Now the sentiment is that he smelled which way the wind was blowing. So many people are in positions they are unqualified for. This isn't an insult. It's a fact. There are people 2 years into new positions asking their underlings what to do constantly. The brain drain has affected company structures severely. Now, this is also something true that I've heard. Because they've lost so many, you don't replace somebody like Kim Fan easily. 13 years at your company, multiple roles, multiple projects. Mike Morhaime, these people are not replaceable. Nate Nancer has been at the company for a long time before he went to fucking Epic Games and worked in various departments. So one of the things that certainly rings true. And as I've seen, like I've been looking into some of the newly appointed people over at Blizzard, and very surprised by their experience. Some of them come from like mainstream businesses. Some of them come from like PR companies and firms that don't have anything to do with games. It's bizarre. So again, like, understand that this doesn't mean this leak is legitimate, because you can find this just by looking on like LinkedIn, right? But so far, all of this introductory paragraph lines up with pretty much everything I've been told. No matter how people tear their hair out and yell, the higher-ups still think trying to make an esport out of every game is going to make it strike rich eventually. Not just esports, by the way, but mobile as well. I interviewed somebody just the other day that told me a wonderful anecdote. I don't know if I said this last time I streamed. It's brilliant. Where when they did Overwatch, when they showed the executives the beta of Overwatch, what eventually got rolled out as beta, like one of the first playable iterations internally in the company, apparently Bobby Kotick played it and said, like, oh, it's a brilliant game. When can I play it on mobile? And was being deadly serious. So, cool company now. Anyway. This fool's gold, wishful thinking horseshit has cost them millions.
That's right.
Massive crunch on projects like Diablo 4, people sleeping under desks, grown men and women weeping openly as births and a few deaths are missed. A graphics artist has been put on paid leave after being caught self-harming on his break. 2019 has really felt like things are stretched thin and reaching a breaking point. Now, I think we've seen with the NetherRealm Studios leaks that the games industry is a fucking mess. And again, while the games press are writing about how bad gamers are, what they're doing is they're allowing AAA games companies to basically abuse workers with impunity. If you remember, we had that story where that guy said, I was being racially abused while I was working at Blizzard. And that was around about the time that was after they did Soldier 76's Gay Y'all, Happy Pride Week. We're all about diversity and inclusion. And then a Mexican-American guy came out and said, I've been racially abused for years. I hate my life. I've filed a complaint with the Equality Commission. So, of course, we'll just... With the games press, we don't want to be too critical of Activision Blizzard. It's one thing to write an article asking if a Lucio skin is cultural appropriation, but to actually do something for workers' rights, oh, no. Can't go too deep. We'd get our fucking card pulled. So, let's just scroll down a little bit here to the next post. A plan to basically hire university as scabs under a get your foot in the door scheme that may as well be called the it's free exposure, it's free real estate scheme. This is just typical of every games company, though. So, I mean, that's not even necessarily insightful. There was a punch-up in the office after websites it massively reported on... Thank you, Slots. After websites had massively reported on female employees having to log their ovulation cycles. That was the story about the opt-in app where they wanted to find out if you were pregnant when you, like, in stuff like this. Don't know about ovulation cycles. Can't speak to that. Wouldn't put it past them. Chris Metzen came in for the first time in a long time. He had major surgery on his back or something of the like, and that's why Thrall disappeared for Legion, and he left the office looking 5 years older and just depressed. Many artists let go and work outsourced to companies like Thai asset producer XPEC to lower production costs, also standard of any company. Overwatch 2. Well, we've already seen the Overwatch 2 links. I think Jason Schreier put some out there when he again talked about, and this is why another reason why this leak could be legit, or it could just be regurgitating little bits of information that's already out there in the form of reporting, because Jason Schreier, said they have cancelled projects, like this post says, but they're now going to double down and make Overwatch 2. I heard about Overwatch 2 a while ago, and I just didn't believe it. I didn't believe it. Even though the sources were credible, I was like, that's disinformation. That's Blizzard trying to find out where the leaks are. Why would you make a sequel to a game like 2 years down the road when you haven't even got your esports fucking league for it up and swinging yet? Then I started hearing, it's just going to be a PvE-focused game, and I was like, this reeks. This is garbage. There's no way Blizzard would be this stupid. Well, according to Jason Schreier's report, they are that fucking stupid. Anyway, Overwatch 2 is now in full production as a It Will Fix It release. It's just Left 4 Dead with robots. Played the flashback seasonal event. It's that for $60 and exclusive cosmetics. In one of the strangest sights I've seen a person of color, I won't place the race or gender to their employment's sake, walked off in disgust at 4 flabby white dudes getting real excited to finally develop a game with no white men in it. Now, this sounds like bait. Obviously, the media message right now, we bow to outrage culture, lest it turn its eye of Sauron in our direction, but people don't talk like that behind closed doors. They didn't used to, at least. It was about making the game the consumer would love and enjoy, not chasing woke brownie points. The game is set before and after the Winston home invasion. The memes about... I don't know what that is, obviously. The memes about Overwatch being entirely backstory was strongly taken to heart. Tracer's girlfriend will die, and over time she will learn to heal after developing a romance with Widowmaker, who has her own journey as the Talon brainwashing wears off. Now listen... I know what you fucking Overwatch fans are all doing out there, right? I know what... So, this has to be fake. But, I mean, then again, how many times has fan fiction actually been incorporated into Blizzard? I mean, right from the get-go, with, starting right back to the Tracer's ass nonsense, they started incorporating fan fiction as a way to deflect criticism and pander to the community. So I'm 90% thinking bait, bullshit, garbage. But then again, with Blizzard, like I say, fucking with negative press, let's liberally deploy some gay, please. Can we deploy some gay? Who's next to be gay? So I don't know, but the whole Tracer Widowmaker romance is it's just such a fucking meme if you've ever seen the Overwatch porn. I don't know. The McCree age plot hole is being retconned into when being one of 3 clones of Soldier 76 in a Metal Gear Solid reference. One is found murdered as a story seed for future content. Reaper is gay. That's gotta be... Yeah, see what I mean? I can't. Reaper... that's gotta be fake.
That was totally unnecessary. We totally...
Hello, Dad. When OWL comes crashing down, will the fallout possibly be the end of Blizzard and maybe another deflation in the esports industry? I hope this scam leak doesn't harm naturally grown esports.
Nah, listen, I was worried to begin with, but what I've started to notice is there's a lot of investors who feel very good that they didn't invest in the Overwatch League, but also very good that they did invest in esports. So I'm not too worried now about it killing the whole industry. And it won't kill Activision Blizzard either, but it might kill their interest in esports and potentially the Call of Duty League they're trying to rush out because... they don't want people to start asking too many questions. A third faction is being added to balance out a lot of the why would these characters work together just because they hate the other guy's stuff. Leader is a techromancer that brings the dead to life using nanites. Her ult brings back dead players as bots to attack their own team for the remainder of the respawn time. Loot boxes replaced with direct time lot purchases in a weekly rotation selection and strict seasonal buy it or it's gone sales. Couch co-op is happening as this was extremely popular with Diablo 3. Don't expect a massive engine upgrade as a version for the Switch is in the works. I don't know. Like, the Switch version makes no sense. A mobile version, though, I know execs want to do this based on what I've been told. So, I don't know. I don't know what to make of that one. There's some stuff in there that just reeks of bullshit. Plus, as well, it's storyline stuff. And again, the way it works at a games development company, you wouldn't necessarily know what the story writers are doing if you had an awareness of like the overall business rollout. Now, unless this is one of the high-level executives who's decided, like, who's decided to go out in a shower of grapes, like this was Kim Fan herself or something, she would know all of that stuff. As an example, there's no way this is Kim. I'm just saying, if it was somebody like that, they're the only person who would know about all of it. But it then goes on to Diablo 4. Now, a bit of a spoiler. I like Diablo, and I like Diablo 2. When Diablo 3 came out, you know, I went to the pre-launch. Blizzard have sort of airbrushed history. One of the worst, most bungled and botched games launches of all time. It's a disgrace.
Not even a real journalism.
And it was a disgrace how they handled it.
Newt.
Newt.
Like a newt.
Well, thank you. Glad. Thanks for the sub. Yeah, what was it? Error 34, was it? I can't remember. Anyway, the bottom line is it was garbage. And also as well, the game was ass. Like, a lot had changed in gaming. Like, running around and clicking on people and getting loot and selling it and that constant, like, gameplay. That was cool when Diablo 2 came out. But, literally, it was just really unengaging and boring to me. And once, like, it kind of felt like the thing was almost like the addictive element. Like, you know, you had, like, nobody was enjoying playing the game. It was just that the gameplay mechanic, either its hooks in you or it didn't. And I never liked it. And, you know, I can take or leave the Diablo series, honestly. So I have less insight and ability to gauge how true the Diablo 4 stuff is. Diablo 4 went into sudden, urgent production with the reaction to Diablo Immortal from shareholders, you dumb fucks, not consumers. Your opinions mean literally nothing to them, and many higher-ups only show a distaste for you as a necessary evil they have to deal with. Again, kind of seems a bit hyperbolic to just throw that in there, like it's like you're a gamer with an axe to grind. I don't know. It's a first-person game made in the Overwatch engine. There's no way. There's no way that's true.
Not even a real journalism.
There's just no way.
That's right.
It's an absolute mess. They intend to... No worries. Thanks, Benakagi.
Hope life is finding you well.
It is. It is a first-person game made in the Overwatch engine. It's an absolute mess. They intend to replace the vacuum in our ecosystem left by Destiny, and they want to essentially be the first fantasy shooter, which is a combination of shooting and looter. Listen, I know letting Destiny go was like a big fucking was a big problem for them, and they don't have a game kind of like that on the books right now that they can use to replace it. So, like, creating a game in the Diablo world that has those sort of mechanics, that's plausible, but it being called Diablo 4, there's no way they would change the format. They couldn't change the format. You can't take Diablo and make it first person. Like, if you think reacting to a mobile game is bad, like, that's way worse. So I don't buy it. It's not going well. Gameplay wise, they can't get the loot to drop properly, and Anthem's public response has terrified them. 3 classes at launch, 5 planned as part of paid seasonal paid content updates. The game involves siding with the demons, as after a millennia of peace, the angels are now an authoritarian, all-controlling regime who once again want to purge Sanctuary. The tagline being workshopped is, let out your inner demons, as the ult mechanic from Overwatch is basically a demonic-themed power-up for each character. The final boss, again, why you would be this far into the game's development, I don't know. The final boss is a holy light-infused angel Diablo called Diabiel Primus. I hope to God the name changes. Ending cutscene shows all 4 games have been a setup. Diablo was a good guy all along, finding the strongest Nephilim to prepare for an invasion from the void. Don't know about this. Kind of doesn't really, read the room. Kind of doesn't feel that, the devil did nothing wrong. Kind of feels like not the stance you want to go with right now. Expected to launch spring 2021 on Project Scarlet, PS5, Battle.net, and Activision's in the works subscription-based game streaming service running on Microsoft's infrastructure. Then, World of Warcraft leaks. And I got to be careful scrolling down. Not porn. We're good. EFX1XI5, that number, is no longer allowed to be mentioned in the offices. We don't allow negativity in the dojo is a daily fucking mantra now. They keep saying it's natural ebb and flow. We can weather this storm, as WoW currently is dipped below 1 million subscribers when our biggest competition just announced... Yeah, Final Fantasy, that's what I meant. But I don't know why Final Fantasy would be... Why would Final Fantasy be such a big deal? I don't think Final Fantasy fucking ate into World of Warcraft's player base, did it? Does anyone believe that? Yeah, no, I know it's an MMO, but... did people quit World of Warcraft to go fucking play FF? Really? Huh. It's very popular, is it? Interesting. Well, thank you. With ignorance like that, I could get a job writing for Polygon. Anyway, FFXI5 is Final Fantasy 14. Yep. So apparently they've dropped below 1 million subscribers. Not too sure about that as well. Kind of feel it would be a lot higher. Loot crates were planned, but after Belgium were hastily reworked into an in-game reward coming in 8.2 or later. Plausible. Level Squish being tested for 9.0. Response to Sylvanas is stronger than expected, but general sentiment is that players will come around by the end of the expansion. However, negative response to Christy Golden and the Voidlord story seeding has more people worried, BFA. Then, next expansion lowers the cap to 60 and level scales everything like the Elder Scrolls Online. Vulpera and Mechanome are the next alliance races. Bring up the fucking Mechanomes. Alliance race unlocks will now come to the cash shop as a paid unlock after its expansion ends, starting with Legion Allied races in 8.3 and the BFA races in 9.0 and so on. There are 2 tabled competitors for 10.0, and reaction to the end of BFA is going to heavily impact the final decision on what makes the cut. The Classic team honestly look like the happiest employees at the company, but there is a growing one-sided animosity between the 2 teams. They think they can just replace us paranoia. Classic is going to dictate who is in charge of 10.0. If the money says one team is clearly the more profitable, they'll get the reins. BC and Wrath servers are in the works as part of the Classic trilogy. And then finally, the StarCraft leaks. RTS as a genre is considered dead. They tried to make it an esport, but it's just not Brood War. Shooter was planned to be a StarCraft with a live service element. Tychus Finley survived at the end of the Wings of Liberty after Raynor shot him and they left in the Zerg Hive. Taken and partially rebuilt as a cyborg by the composer, a shadowy beneficiary. Finley led 4-man Black Ops missions during the events. I mean, this just sounds like fan fiction. There's actually nothing about the game in it. And then finally, my bad, there was a Hearthstone bit as well. New project lead not popular with the team. Lots of butting heads at the roundtable meetings. User drop-off is staggering. No Blizzard game in history has fallen off this fast or this far. I just cannot believe that. Hearthstone seems to be one of their more popular titles, especially when you factor in mobile. Lots of worries about loot box bills, counting Hearthstone packs as gambling. Can believe that. Rumblings in the halls that there's an experimental buy dust, pay more to get more and save more system with legendaries now exclusive to paid adventures. It's not the esport they wanted it to be. There were plans for Hearthstone VR, but they've been mothballed. Is it actually dropping like crazy? Is Hearthstone actually dying? I haven't played it. I'll be honest with you guys. I haven't played Hearthstone for a long time. I think I just hit a point where I was like, I just can't justify dropping, however many $100 it takes to get all of the cards from every expansion to then just end up playing against like one or two decks on ladder. And if you don't play those decks, there's, you don't have a good time in the game. And yeah, listen, I think auto chess that is a genre will attract a lot of card game players because it is in essence a card game. You're making 3s and 9s and everything, so it's about odds. So I can imagine that. But I didn't realize Hearthstone was dead. Like, holy shit. I'll have to, because again, I'm just out of that loop. I worked on that WSOE event and talked to a bunch of guys there, and things were pretty good back then. But I haven't talked to a lot of them. I mean, last Hearthstone guy I talked to, I had a few beers with Brian Kibler out at that Invin thing, but we were talking about the Magic the Gathering tour and all that fucking craziness, really. So, Brian Kibler, absolute legend, by the way. I love that guy. So yeah, very interesting. So dead, I forgot it died. Yeah, probably. So there you go. All told, it started out strong, the leaks. It started out plausible. A lot of the stuff reads like fan fiction and garbage. Richard is going to give this a 3 on the plausibility scale out of 10. And that's being generous, probably. But who knows, dude? Who knows?